Let's go, everybody!
The Finals. It's an extremely fast-paced and chaotic FPS experience that is sort of sneakily taking over the charts on Steam right now. The open beta is actually going on right now, and the current all-time peak for the game is about 140,000 players. That's just on PC alone. The game is also on Xbox and PlayStation, and that means that there's definitely a lot more players enjoying this beta right now across all platforms. The game is being developed by Embark Studios, which is a company being spearheaded by some former DICE employees. Now, me being the Battlefield fanboy that I am, I was immediately intrigued by this information when I heard this game was being developed about a year ago. If you know anything about Battlefield, it's that destruction plays a vital role in the core gameplay loop. You see a house filled with enemies? Why not launch a tank shell into it and collapse it? It's the sense of freedom in molding the environments that has always made Battlefield stand apart from other FPS games. And I think the Finals is going to come in and amplify that tenfold, because this game is absolutely crazy. Oh, I just fucking nailed that guy. Get in here, get in here.
I'm in here. Oh, the fucking floor spelled.
Now, my footage that you're seeing here was captured on PC, but my only choice was to play with a controller due to a bug that some PC users are having in the beta. For some reason, it was doing this thing where my mouse would just stop moving every 10 seconds or so, and there would be brief moments where I just couldn't look around or aim. And you can't have that in this game. This game is fast as all hell. So excuse how bad I am in this. Controller was really rough, and that bug was the worst thing I've experienced in this open beta. But other than that, this game is pretty smooth, man. You can really feel the Battlefield DNA coursing through this game's veins. And like I said, I've played all the recent Battlefield installments, and I'm a big fan of that franchise. This game looks to borrow from those Battlefield aspects in the way of destruction, visuals, and a bit of the gameplay. But here's the best part about the Finals. The game executes some of the most adrenaline-pumping FPS gameplay that I've ever seen, but it also is managing to do things that I've never quite seen before. I've seen destruction before in multiplayer games and the Battlefield games, but not to the extent of this one. I've also seen plenty of class-based shooters with wacky-looking characters, but never one that has this unique of a setting and lore behind it. One where everyone is partaking in a game show-style arena match where your opponents explode into coins like they're Scrooge McDuck. I think that the style of the game will really start to draw people in even before you realize how fast-paced and fun the combat is. When matches start off, you and your fellow contestants are thrown into the contest and everything is really flashy. The presentation, the announcers, it's really good stuff. The maps are based off of real-life locations too, such as Seoul, Korea or Monaco, and the visuals really kind of smacked me in the face. I just liked looking around at the Monaco map in particular. It's almost a bit uncanny. It's like there's such realistic feeling maps, hyper-realistic destruction, and gunplay, but it's mixed with a premise that is so out there and not realistic at all. It's a really cool balance between the two that the devs have seemed to capture here. There's a couple of different game modes in the beta right now, but the general idea for both of them is that several teams of 3 are fighting over resources to bank the most points in order to win the game. In the game mode you're seeing right now, once you get a kill, a player will drop their coins and you'll be able to pick them up. The catch is that the more you carry, the more people will be able to see you and track you down from across the map, leaving a long trail of coins in your wake. The pressure is always there to get to a deposit station, especially if you're carrying a lot, because there's the potential to die and give it all up. And your teammates will not like this. This is where the chaos picks up and the game legit looks like a damn movie. This is where they really deliver those only in Battlefield moments. Except it's the finals. Only in the finals moments? That doesn't sound as good. There will be situations where you'll have multiple teams converging onto one deposit point, and everyone will be jump padding and grappling around. I've had some really cinematic moments so far. Some where you and your team will be traversing across rooftops or ziplining to get into the action. Looks like a goddamn Mirror's Edge game or something. People are throwing propane tanks and blowing everything up, floors collapsing, buildings caving in on everybody. Combat and traversal just feels really free and limitless. Starring Bradley Cooper. Of course, there's plenty of variety across the loadouts, as there should be in a game like this. There's the light, medium, and heavy class, which each have their own specialization gadgets, as well as their own set of weapons that you're able to use for each. There's everything from your traditional AK or maybe a SCAR to some of the more untraditional weapons like straight up swords that can be used by the light class, which is awesome, or the flamethrower that can be used by the heavy class. Of course, there's going to be tons of weapon skins and player skins, microtransactions I'm sure, but they all look pretty nice and there's no pay to win aspects in this game it seems. After all, the game is free to play, which I haven't even mentioned yet. And that's real nice.
Nice.
The guns, the gadgets, they all feel really snappy and responsive. Some people are saying that the time to kill is way too long in this game. I don't necessarily think that, but I think it's more of a balancing issue, and there's definitely things that need to be tweaked, and they will be, probably even throughout the course of this open beta. Snipers feel pretty useless, for example, because they aren't a one-shot body shot most of the time, and since you're left with no secondary weapon, you'll just take a shot at someone and not kill them. And since the game is so fast-paced, they can just rush you down and blow you to golden little bits faster than you can say, I think that the way that combat works in tandem with verticality is another important thing to mention about the game. The jump pads and grapple hooks can create some of the most thrilling moments of the game where all of a sudden you have to worry about looking up, down, left, right. You're just never really safe. People are parkouring like monkeys and blowing things up around you constantly. I'm honestly excited to see how this game turns out in the long run and how it ends up being received as more and more people jump into this. I've seen a lot of positivity and hype surrounding the game recently, but I feel like there's a huge number of FPS lovers out there that still have no idea that this game exists, so I'm doing my part to try and change that. Give it a go during this open beta session, and I'll see you next time.
Recovered and respawned.
Oh, no. Oh, why am I meleeing there? I'm basically like a senior citizen at this point with a controller.